We're going to kick things off by taking it back to the deserted island, Part D. So if you weren't here last time, of course, the premise is you're on a deserted island with power, a TV, and a DVD player, and you only get six movies to choose from. And no, Dave, Ian McKellen in Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit is not one of the options, so don't bring it up. Or Robert Downey Jr. in all the Avengers and Iron Man movies. Okay, so those are off the table.
Stupid game.
So like we're gonna go with actors this time instead of directors. Switch it up. So we have Leonardo DiCaprio, Shutter Island, Inception, The Departed, Titanic, Django, Gangs of New York, and then we have Will Smith. First half of Will Smith's career: Bad Boys 1, I Am Legend, Men in Black, I, Robot, Ali, and The Pursuit of Happiness. And then we have, actually, when I was looking this one up, I was kind of surprised, and the third one is Brad Pitt. And it's Fight Club, Troy, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Seven, Inglourious Bastards, and World War Z. So personally, I think I'm going to have to go with the Brad Pitt one, just because of the range of movies you get. You get Troy, old school, and ancient warrior, badass. You get the zombie movie. You get a World War II movie with Inglourious Bastards. Seven is a mystery thriller.
Great.
Fight Club is just a fucking crazy ass movie. So, and then Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, that's like an acting.
What were the
I like
Leo
him
movies?
in Fury too. I think Fury's really good.
Fury's solid.
Shutter Island, which if you guys haven't seen Shutter Island, oh my
I've
god,
seen it.
greatest plot twist of all time.
Who do you think we
Crazy.
are?
Inception, The Departed, Titanic, Django, Gangs of New York.
See, that's not
I think
really
I would go
fair.
Leo on this one.
Yeah.
I was going to say, that's stacked. Like,
Right. Gangs of New York.
Yep. And a lot of range. A lot of range there too. Will Smith has the least range out of those movies, but still really good movies.
Yeah.
there wasn't a split second that I even
Dave carrying a
considered
gun
keeping
in.
Will Smith in. As soon as
I know, right?
here are Bad Boys and which Bad Boys is fine. Men in Black's obviously a classic, but they're not ones that I would want to be going back to rewatch. I, Robot, I Am Legend, both classics.
It's
Love
good.
them
I
both.
like that one. I like that one.
But the rest of them,
Pursuit of Happiness is good too. But
I've never watched that one, but I've heard it's good. I just have never sat down and watched it because it looks depressing, and I know the story.
But not like a
and I
rewatchable on an island.
Right.
Right. It's kind of sad, right?
You'd kill yourself by the end of it. But, that's tough because I like Brad Pitt's movies. I like him more, I think, but I think Leo's just got the Academy Award level type movies in his thing there.
He didn't win any, though.
No, but the movies did. Well, he didn't get raped by a bear in those ones, so that's tough, man. Fight Club is really what's making me stop and think, though, because that is all time. Fight Club right there is hard to not have. But I'm gonna have to go with Leo. Shutter Island, Inception. I mean, they're just too good. And Django, it's just too many good.
Django's entertaining. Yeah.
Yeah.
Inception.
So when we go to part 3, I'll do actresses, and we'll see how far we can go down the list of deserted island.
There you go.
I picked Zoe Saldana.
Hey.
She has
That's
good
a good
movies. A
call.
lot of good movies.
Yeah, she does.
Just stacked. Love, get your mind out of the gutter.
What?
She's also got a lot of good movies. Stacked.
All right, JD, you got a little question for us?
All right, yeah. Sticking kind of the same realm here. I'm going to go with this, and I'm going to give you someone named Denis Villeneuve, and I'm going to tell you that you got him for a trilogy or a movie, and you're either MCU or DCU. This trilogy or movie, but then never anything else again. You only got one shot. Pick one or the other and pick a movie. For Denis
Can I pick Star
Villeneuve to
Wars?
direct. Well, yeah, you can. I just feel like there's not a lot of options. What are you going to do, Old Republic or fucking New Republic?
Oh no,
Or
I would
like
just
which
say
Sith?
I would just be Kathleen Kennedy, and I would go to his house and I'd say, hey, whatever you want to do, clean slate. I don't care what the story's about. Make whatever you want. You got your own trilogy.
I think it's too close to Dune 2 for him to do Star Wars.
I
Like,
know
would
it is. It's
obviously, I'd be
just like Dune.
Yeah, I'd be so excited, obviously, but it'd be like, okay, how are you going to make it? Luckily, Star Wars already has
copying
such an
himself.
established universe and all their tech and ships, so he'd be able to easily
Right.
do it, but still.
Okay, so the confines of your question, I would probably pick DC because I feel like there's probably more creative freedom in that universe compared to the MCU where everything's super strict. if you get a trilogy, it's going to be with a lot of stuff happening in between. He could do like an Elseworlds DC project, or even be in James Gunn's universe. But yeah, definitely DC.
That'd be sick too.
What was the premise again?
But pick a movie then. So pick Denny Villeneuve is gonna do a movie or a trilogy. So give him a movie or trilogy in the MCU or DCU.
Do Green Lantern then.
Yep, that was mine, dude. I said Green Lantern automatically because it should carry that vibe, and they're in space and they go to war. Like, oh, that'd be so sick to get that high of a quality director for Green Lantern with so much potential in that universe. Oh, that'd be sick. So yeah, that was my pick anyway.
I would go... Shoot, dude, that's tough. Give me the Red Hood trilogy.
Even a Superman movie. I mean,
Denis
he's not going to do that
Villeneuve.
one, but...
Batman trilogy.
Oh, God.
Featuring Under the Red Hood in there.
Sick.
Give me it.
There it is.
Dude, that would start... I bet you that would end up feeling like a Christopher Nolan Batman movie.
Yeah.
You know? It'd be
Except
like...
you get to have Batman
it'd probably
and Red
transcend.
Hood and Nightwing in it. You could have all three of those with Denise setting it up in the first movie, hitting the peak of it in the second, and then the aftermath in the third. Like, there could be some dope stuff.
Red Hood and Green Lantern. Give it to us now. Thank you.
We'll just edit in the
Yeah,
intro.
let's hop
I think
in.
we're a little delayed, but oh well. It feels like we're on 3 different levels of delay too again, but we'll make do.
I'm still uploading. I'm at 4% now. I probably stopped at 4, huh?
Yeah,
Mine
I think
says
that's
paused.
what happened. Yeah, I think it
Yeah,
was
I'm
just
paused.
uploading. And yeah.
All right. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Why So Sidious, a Nerd Podcast. Joining me today are my co-host, the Ironmonger, Jeremiah Stain, and of course, the heir to Darth Vader, Dave Oren. And today, we are finally continuing our series ranking all the MCU movies with numbers 17 through 11. Was our last episode in September? Maybe. But now we're almost to the top 10, and we're back. And of course, don't forget to follow us on social media at Why So Sidious Pod on Instagram, TikTok, X, and YouTube. And check out some of our other episodes. We have a Novice Nerd on Silver Surfer, a comic review of E for Extinction, with some X-Men 97 and Deadpool 3 tie-ins. And of course, stay up to date on our latest news in our Week in Geek episodes. And look out for our second very special Star Wars May the 4th episode with a character draft plus more. It's also crazy we've been a podcast that we're doing our second May the 4th episode. Crazy.
Hell yeah.
Right?
Oh, sorry.
Well, it's wild.
We don't use... I don't mean to cut in for the intro, but if you guys think that we didn't plan ahead and you think we're like Kathleen Kennedy, we are waiting for top 10 because Deadpool and Wolverine, obviously. Because if that doesn't crack top 10, I'm probably going to be disappointed, to be honest. Even if it's like number 12,
Right.
I'd be like,
That's
yeah, I
true.
expected more, but I still like it. Sorry.
That's a good call. I mean, no, that was
true.
planned. Yeah, we've been talking about that.
It's going to have to be really good to crack the top 10, though. Like,
Yeah.
True.
But
but it needs to be.
Deadpool
It
and
needs to be.
Wolverine. Rated R fixing the MCU. Oh, man.
Ooh.
How can it not?
Yeah.
Gosh. All right, well, speaking of Deadpool, and it has been a while since we did our last rankings, let's talk about where the Marvels falls on our list. So
the hell is that?
personally,
Speaking of
for me,
Deadpool.
it's just outside.
I was going to say... Hell yeah. Yeah, we're running with it. Speaking of
'Cause,
Deadpool, where's Captain Marvel fit on
Well, okay. Speaking of movies that will adjust, that have adjusted our rankings,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
will
okay.
adjust our rankings. There it is.
Yeah, I figured that was...
Sorry.
I have it at number 28, which is not very good. So I have it between Black Widow and Captain America 1. It is just outside the bottom 5. And that is where the Marvels land for me. I have
Interesting.
Captain Marvel higher. JD, where you got it in your 33 MCU movies?
It is honestly dead last. Like, I absolutely like it the least by pretty far. I don't want to rewatch it. Like, keep that thing far away from me. It's down there.
Sick.
I need to see it again to really cement it. Dave? Unless
I don't have it dead
unless it's in your
last.
top 10, we can wait if it's in your top 10.
I didn't want to spoil anything. It is number 1. You know, I wasn't crazy about it. I enjoyed it a little more on the rewatch, but I got it below. So I got it at. Well, how would the numbers adjust? Okay, so it would be 27th. Below Thor: The Dark World, and pretty much tied with Iron Man 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, JD loves Iron Man 3.
That's not on my list today.
Oh no!
All right,
okay.
well, let's get into these rankings. Hopefully, we stay friends at the end. And we'll go one at a time, starting with number 17. if someone has the same movie higher on their list, but is still within this episode, right? So if it's in your top 10, I'm sorry, we're talking about it today. But yeah, if it's like 12 and someone else has it at 15, we'll wait till 12 and we'll talk about it. All right. So who wants to go first? Dave, why don't you start off with your number 17, your 17th favorite MCU movie?
My 17th favorite. So, by the way, real quick, I just want to say this was by far the hardest, the most difficult experience I've had in rankings as far as this MCU list goes. Some of them were tough. I moved some of them around, but like 11 through 17, I am not kidding when I say I changed it every day of this week. Every time I opened up my list, I shifted a bunch of them. All the way up till 20 minutes before our last episode, I was telling Lub, one just got moved from 11 to 13. It was hard, man, and it's just because they're all at such an equal level at this point of the MCU. Like, I got my top 8 locked in, but this one was tough, so there's a lot of bouncing around. And I think it comes down to, honestly, what my mood is at the point with this part of this list. You know, a few months later, it could be totally different with this little section of the list. So, but we're going with today. We're going with now.
It's set in stone after the podcast comes out.
I know. It's set in stone. I'm just saying. It's one of those times where it's just hard. So my number 17, Age of Ultron, Avengers, the second Avengers movie. Now, this movie gets way more hate than it should, in my opinion, especially initially, because I think now there's more appreciation for it. Oh, I don't know. Sorry, I jumped right into talking. Does anybody have that higher?
It's way higher. So not
okay, I'll hold off.
Okay, hell yeah.
No, not for today, though, right? So you talk about it.
Yeah. No, it's not for today.
Yeah, I'm okay. Anyway, so like I never even stop talking.
Oh,
I think it's more appreciated now after the mediocre stuff we've been getting in the MCU recently. You know, like it's the last time we see the original 6 fighting side by side in this capacity. It had some amazing scenes. I loved the creation of Vision. The Avengers party was a blast. It fleshed out our heroes in a deeper way than just a lazy one-liner of humor. And I loved Ultron. I wish he got more time to shine. There's plenty of stuff wrong with it. There's some corny spots. There's some plot points that don't exactly work, which is why it doesn't hit the top 10 of the MCU a lot. It sounds like we might hit it here. But a lot of people, the general consensus is this movie gets a lot of crap, but I just don't think it's as bad as the initial reception made it seem. Me and JD loved this movie when it first came out, and we watched it at JD's apartment back in the day. Freaking loved it. So I enjoyed this movie, and I still do, and on a rewatch.
Yeah, the week of Ultron's not bad.
Okay, the name is wrong.
I had it number 20, so that's not too far off, honestly.
Fair enough.
All right, JD, what do you got at 17?
Okie dokie. So 17 is Eternals. And I like Eternals. We talked about it before. A lot of people don't like Eternals. We like Eternals, even though we get hate for liking Eternals. But it was cool because it was unique. It was something very different from what we've seen before. And they had these special, unique powers that were really fun to explore. And their dynamics were pretty good. The story was pretty good. But the unique thing for me really worked. I loved the Celestials, too. I thought the Celestials were so cool in that movie. I get it. It's it's very different, but, we also got that speedster scene. One of the best speedster scenes I've seen with, what's her name, beating the shit out of old Robb Stark there. Great speedster scene. They use that very well. So, I don't get why people hate it so much. I like the movie. Eternal's pretty solid. Caleb, I know you're a big fan, so you're like, dude, oh man, it's my favorite. But
no, I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. I do like how unique everyone's powers are in the Eternals. Like, everyone has their own thing. But it's too long. It's, it doesn't need to be 3 hours. There's a lot of extra crap going on. And, I mean, I need to see it again, but it's not the best.
Yeah.
It is the best.
It sucks.
It's number 1. All right, well, for my number 17 movie, hopefully no one else has this one higher. I think it might be, though. I feel like it's going to be. And that is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Scumbag.
I'm talking about that today, too, yeah.
Okay.
I
Dave?
am, too. Yeah, it's on my list.
You as well?
Higher, but yeah.
I figured.
Yeah, today.
All right, well, you know what then? I'm running this show, so I'm going right to my number 16. How about that?
Okay. All right.
I swear to God, to God, if you guys have it higher on your list. So for number 16, I have Doctor Strange 1.
I got it higher on my list.
Oh, come on. Okay.
No
All
talking
right, well,
for Caleb.
JD, would you like to talk about would you like to talk about your favorite, 16th favorite MCU movie?
Does anyone have Homecoming today? Spider-Man Homecoming?
Dave probably does.
No, sir. I was on my last list.
Oh.
All right. My number 16 is Spider-Man Homecoming. I would say, I love Spider-Man as a character. I've loved most of his movies. But Homecoming for me was not really doing it for me. The Iron Man stuff was a little forced. And it didn't reach like the level of maybe intensity or emotion that the other Spider-Man movies have reached before. They all have had pretty solid villains, except for a couple, but the Vulture didn't do that well. I thought he was done really well at first, but I watch it again and it really wasn't. We always get really cool Spider-Man, like a climactic fight with the villain at the end, and I thought this one was really weak. So, yeah, I don't know. And then you just see him running around trying to get Tony Stark's attention this whole time, for a lot of it. The stuff at the party in the high school, it's fun, and I get it. It's different. He's they're doing more of a high school exploration of his life because that's different from other Spider-Man movies we've got. But yeah, overall, I'm saying more bad things about it because I feel like it should be rated higher, and I was saying all the good stuff about Eternals because I feel like that should be rated lower. But that's just why it's not higher. It is still Spider-Man. It's still Tom Holland. I still love Tony Stark, and everybody happy. He was good in that movie. So there's a lot to like. It is 16.
I like that. I like that movie. It was 18 for me, I think. Pretty close.
Well, that movie just barely squeaked out of this episode. I'll say that.
Oh.
Because, I am a Homecoming stan. I'm dying on that hill. It's too late to go back now.
Big Ferris Bueller guy.
I'm also not a fan of the Iron Spider suit. Any technology in his suit, I'm not a big fan of because his character is so capable and he has so many gifts just himself. He's special. Like, he doesn't need any extra Iron Man stuff.
I do get that, especially being like a Spider-Man fan from a kid and all that. That was never a part of his story. It was just he's just this badass kid who all he needed to do was make a suit for himself. But I think the Iron Spider suit's dope. I love it in Infinity War. I think it's sick. But I get that.
It's
It
still
works for
entertaining.
Infinity War though because they're
like
on
that
another
suit.
level in Infinity War.
Yeah, I like that. When he puts it on for the first time, I loved it actually because that was a cool end credit that had a big payoff.
JD, you got a cargo plane flying through your living room right now?
Yeah,
I think it's
it
Nick
passed.
Fury.
I should have muted it, but then I had to
coming
say
in.
that
Hell
thing
yeah.
about the post credit.
No, you're good. You're good. It's fine. Ain't nobody care.
All right, Dave. What do you
What?
got at 16?
I got. See if anybody has an eye.
no.
Shang-Chi. However you want to pronounce that first part of his name. Shang-Chi. Anybody?
I think that was on my last one.
All right.
Yeah.
So we are.
I had
good.
that at 18.
Wow. Okay. So I have it highest in the podcast.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Cool.
I guess I'm just the only cultured guy here, but it's a fun movie. It's unique to like a lot of the similar structure
JD
of the
had
MCU.
Black Panther on the last one.
We're not gonna talk about that right now.
I'm trying to look. Damn it, no culture in my top. All right, well,
We're getting canceled. Shang-Chi, 16. Yeah, it's just a fun movie, man. It's unique. It also brought out some insanely cool hand-to-hand fight scenes we never got, other than Winter Soldier. It expanded the MCU with a mystic story that I really enjoyed. I thought Simu was great as Shang-Chi. His sister and father were solid. I loved bringing back... oh, no, I'm sorry. I forgot his name. The fake Mandarin.
Wong.
No.
Oh,
What,
yeah,
the fake,
Trevor Slattery.
Trevor Slattery.
Trevor, thank you. Trevor's the man. So I was stoked to see him. Had no idea who was coming back. He's hilarious. But Awkwafina is probably the reason this isn't like 3 or 4 spots higher on the list. Note to future MCU directors, don't make Awkwafina an Awkwafina-type character and then have her nail the killing blow on the all-powerful mystical dragon that's set to take over the world. Cool. Good talk. We'll move forward with that in mind. Other than that, it was a pretty dope movie, and it had some really
Fucking
cool
movies
scenes, so
101.
I enjoyed it. Awkwafina, get the hell off my TV screen.
He's a fast learner.
No, you just...
Did JD just unplug something?
Wait, did you not mute it? Did
All
you
right, well,
unplug
maybe
your
it's
mic?
safe.
Oh, he muted it on the mic. We're good.
Nah, dude.
We're good, yeah. Okay.
Oh, it sounds so silent when you do that. It's weird.
It looked like you like pulled the plug on it. That's funny. Okay.
I like the button on this. Panicked.
So I will cautiously
Save the children.
move on to my number 15 movie. Hopefully, No one has
As you were saying.
Oh.
Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness?
No, wait.
Oh, I got it.
No.
I got it next.
Last episode.
Yeah, that's my next one. That's 15 for me.
Okay.
Go for it.
Oh, we're at 15. There we go.
It works out
We have it
very
tied,
well.
JD.
That's dope. Hell yeah. We could both
All
talk
right.
about it together with each other.
Yeah, we're doing it at the exact same time.
I wish we could
No,
be a little physically close.
So,
we'll get into it.
so two of my
I'm
top
down.
5 favorite Marvel characters, probably, with Scarlet Witch and Doctor Strange. Cumberbatch playing 3 different versions of himself. Pretty cool acting. One of my favorite scores in the whole movie. That piano scene's pretty cool. It has kind of grown on me, I'll say that.
I hated that.
It
but I like
misses
the
on
movie.
some things. It misses on some things, but it
Terrible.
hits it hard in other spots, baby. But the first meeting between Wanda and Steven's really cool. Like the whole mirage she's putting up in front of him, and then once he realizes, she just unveils this like wasteland that she's been doing so much dark magic on, and she thinks she's justified in all of it. Like she might have learned her lesson in the end, but still, she thought she was doing the right thing. Her man just died, and she's dealing with the loss of the loss of her kids too from WandaVision. Yeah, so shit's been going down for her. And Multiverse 838, super cool, getting that different version of the Illuminati. We got the dream cast of John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic. So it was a lot of good stuff in this movie.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Dude,
there's a
so
lot of good
everything Wanda for me. When they start talking in the freaking peach patch or wherever they are with the trees and the fruits, that's a great conversation. And then when it turns to the witch stuff, you're just like, no way. And then immediately she goes and attacks Comertage, and she tears it up. That scene was pretty cool. And then she starts crawling out of mirrors and stuff. It gets all Sam Raimi horror. But yeah, I thought it was sick. And then the Illuminati. I did not like the Illuminati as a whole. I was just glad we got Mr. Fantastic. That might be it, dude, because I didn't like the Captain Marvel variant. I didn't like the Black Bolt. I didn't like I don't like Captain Britain. I really don't, whether it's What If or live action or whatever her name is. But John Krasinski and Wanda killing all them, that was savage.
That was
And then
sick.
Professor X, of course. That was awesome to see Professor X and more do even.
Getting his next step.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude,
that was just
Wanda was
intense,
definitely the MVP. Like this felt like it should have been her movie because she definitely carried it.
Oh, yeah.
But I loved all of her stuff. I mean, they just really showed how dominant she is. And to that extent, it kind of made me like the Illuminati we got. Because if we saw the full-powered Illuminati get torn up by Wanda like that, I think I would have been a little bit more bummed. But seeing this universe's Illuminati not being, it's not quite Black Panther, Iron Man, Namor, backup Captain Marvel and Captain America.
But they killed Thanos.
Mordo, I mean... It's true, but Doctor Strange killed Thanos with the Darkhold. They weren't really doing anything. Doctor Strange had to sell his soul to kill that guy. So but I agree. It's not the coolest Illuminati lineup you could have by a long shot. But it worked just because we got to see Wanda really show off her skills and her power. So it was wild. But yeah, overall there was a lot of issues I had with it. But it's still good.
And that scene with Wanda at the end, where one version of her goes back and shows her, she goes back to the 838 version. Oh, God. And her son's just terrified of her.
Yeah.
Like, she says, I'm not a monster. And, her sons look up and see her, like, killing their mom. And it's just, like, heartbreaking for her. Because she's, this is her whole end goal. And it definitely didn't go well.
Smart play by America to
Yeah.
That's her name, right? Yeah, to put her in that situation rather than a life-threatening one. She basically put up a kid-sized mirror in front of her and been like, look at what you have become. So, mature choice by America there.
Right. Mm-hmm. And we find out Doctor Strange is, like, the biggest threat to the multiverse, and we thought that was going to play do something to do with Kang, but that's not happening.
Yeah.
Be right back.
This guy. Anyway, so as I was saying before he joined him, Caleb sucks.
Oh, yeah, dude. His list is the worst. If anyone hears about it, we're going to get deleted.
Yeah, I think we already are deleted. I just really hate that guy. Oh, here he is.
I do have some culture. I love, dude.
Had to put the old Willy kid away. Sorry.
Put your willy
All
away,
right,
bro.
let's
This
move
is a
on.
kid's show.
Dave.
Shit.
Dave Oren. What's your 15th favorite movie?
Go to hell. Number 15 is going to be Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, which you had higher.
Oh, hey, here we
Or lower, however you want to look at it perspective-wise. JD, you don't have it on this list, right? Oh, you do? You have it higher on this list?
I do.
Oh, all right.
Yep.
I will hold off, but yeah. Number 15, Guardians Volume 2.
Okay, fair enough. Well, what's your number 14th favorite movie then, Dave?
Me? Did JD... Am I missing things?
Well, yeah, I got
Multiverse of Madness.
Multiverse at 15.
Yeah. Yeah, good call. All right, I'm done. Sorry, I'll trust your hosting. That's I stepped out of line. My number 14 is Thor Ragnarok.
Oh. Whoa.
What? It's too low? You got it way higher?
I thought it'd be higher.
Well,
I thought it'd be
that
higher.
was one of the ones that got moved around about 7 times
Overrated.
this week. So I know JD doesn't
That's
have that
fair.
on his list. Do you?
It's lower. I already talked about it, yeah.
Yeah, but Lub, do you have your? Is this on
Last
your list?
episode.
This will be featured in a future episode.
Oh, okay. Well, then I will go ahead. I mean, I don't have a lot new to say. We've talked about this movie at length. We all have somewhat different opinions on it. But to me, it's just fun. It's in contention with Guardians Volume 2 as the funniest movie in the MCU. And it just works for me. I get why Hulk doesn't work for a lot of people, including our friend JD here. But I enjoyed it. It worked for me. I enjoyed his screen time. Even as Bruce Banner, I thought Mark was hilarious in this movie. And I like the crucial step we got in the relationship of Thor and Loki. And it was Thor's second coolest appearance in the MCU, right behind Infinity War. So I always have fun watching this movie.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, obviously, I agree a lot. And I also, JD has definitely changed my perspective on Hulk because in Hulk, Ragnarok, Hulk was always super cool to me, and I didn't really have the perspective of, yeah, we haven't really got a super badass Hulk in the MCU, you know, besides the couple first Avengers movies, but not what we could have had.
Yeah, I think the two little short things he did in the Avengers movie was slamming Loki and then punching that freaking giant worm and a couple other little things. I think that was like the best on-screen Hulk. Very limited screen time, but that's all you need for that character. Which is why I'm so pissed they didn't give us anything in Endgame. Just 30 seconds, 45 maybe, something please. Nah. We're not going to show Hulk fighting anybody.
He's a friend from work.
That is a funny line. It is a very entertaining movie. Funny.
All right, JD, what do you got at number 14?
Number 14, I have Wakanda Forever. So I freaking like this movie. I still like to rewatch it.
This is
It's
higher
like
on my
one of-
list.
I got it higher, too.
Yeah, and I'm not even going to talk about it. All right, for sure.
Sorry.
It's today.
When
No,
we
that's
get
good.
to the end here, we're going to be really busting
Forgot
it
the
out at the
structure.
end here with all this jam-packed
Baby.
movies.
Right. Oh, baby.
I didn't think we'd have so much overlapping.
I'll go over your
Okay,
lap.
well for me, I feel like I'm not even gonna
Spank
get into
me.
my notes because I know you guys have it higher, and that's Guardians 3.
Yeah. Next episode, though, so go for
That's
it.
top 5 for me.
Much higher.
JD.
Yeah, that's top 5.
God, we are
Whoa.
delayed. We
It's
are so
Deadpool's
delayed.
competition because it probably won't be.
Okay, well I guess I'll talk about it since I'm the one who doesn't love it like everybody else.
Caleb's
Sorry,
stalking
Willie
through his
ran away.
window. What? Wait, what? You gotta go get him?
Chantal will find him. He's around. He's not that dumb. Okay, let's get things back on track here. Things are getting a little off the rails. Having some technical difficulties. We have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, number 14. So first I want to say, check out our review of this movie. We went and saw it in theaters together, right? Wasn't JD in town for this one?
I don't remember.
The Marvels and
Was it Guardians? Maybe not.
I don't think
I don't
yeah,
think it was Guardians.
We had a full breakdown of this movie.
it was only Flash and the Marvels.
Oh,
Yes,
Flash.
Flash.
That was right. Dang. You need to come for Deadpool to redeem yourself.
I want to.
Or maybe stay home.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
guys
don't
come
come
here,
up
shit.
because
Jinx it.
yeah, we should go down there.
That's true.
0 for 2.
Right.
No. But this is Guardians 3 is one of the most emotional movies in the MCU. We get the Rocket origin story. We've been waiting for this, and it did deliver. And the High Evolutionary, Dave's Actor of the Year, killed it. Well, probably one of the best villains in Phase 5. The Guardians are
Hell,
always
screen
hilarious
time.
movies. The comedy is always on point. You guys reminded me of so many during the cities too, like the flirting scene and everything with Nathan Fillion talking crap about his sidekick. So there was a lot of Guardians 3 in the cities too. There was some funny scenes with him. And of course James Gunn just killed it with this trilogy, and it was the perfect end to his story. Like in a time where the MCU was going nowhere and they weren't trying to tell this massive story, like this movie just stands on its own. It's isolated. It was super refreshing. So I do really enjoy this movie.
Yeah, it's a good one. Should be higher, but it's a good one.
Well, then how about we move on to our lucky number 13? And I know you guys aren't going to like mine. So, Dave, you can go first.
13, Spider-Man Far From Home. What do we say? You guys got it on this?
Wow,
That's my
I have it
11.
higher than you. It's
Wow.
my 11, JD.
Wow.
Oh, that's so hot. Oh, Multiverse of Madness and Far From Home. They call us the secret
Right.
lovers.
I'm getting out of here before I get pregnant.
All right, we'll wait on that one. And JD, how about your lucky number 13?
Guardians 2, so we're talking about that later, right?
Oh, Dave?
I think we're waiting on you. I had it at 15.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there it is. Let's go.
Okay. Oh yeah, so Guardians 2. I've actually liked this more and more as I've seen it more. When I watched it first, I still liked it, but I was kind of disappointed in it. But it does good on a rewatch because there is a lot of emotional depth and there's a lot of character development. There's a lot of humor. You know, it is entertaining, and it's just always fun to see them as a group go around together. It's just I didn't love Peter Quill's dad. I didn't love the ego route they went with. And I didn't like how much bickering the team was doing throughout. But I get it. That's what teams do, and that's part of their character development. So that's probably why it didn't go higher. It didn't reach the first two I like way more. You know, it's still good. It's ranked here at 13. But yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
Love, where was
Dave-
it for you?
I have it at 17, so you can go ahead, and then I'll bury you guys.
Yeah, this is another one that I actually didn't realize how many people weren't big fans of it until this year. I just always assumed that everybody loved that movie, and I realized, not everybody really likes that. But I love it. I have a blast watching every time. Like I said, I think it's tied with Ragnarok as the funniest movie in the MCU. There's so many good lines in this movie that just have you cracking up between Rocket and Peter and Drax. Like, oh my God. And I love the development we get between Peter and Rocket and Nebula and Gamora. Like, we get a lot of building on these relationships of these characters. It's a bit goofy. The third act gets pretty ridiculous. Like JD said, the ego thing is not my favorite, but that's part of the Guardians' fun sometimes. And it ends with an insanely emotional send-off to Yondu. It gets me every time. It got Cat Stevens playing father and son in the background. And we get a great scene between Yondu and Rocket, which is even heavier after watching Volume 3 in this movie, and I really enjoy it.
Yeah, Yondu does have a great character arc. Like, even if Stallone does talk about his funeral at the beginning of the movie, kind of giving it away.
They kind of,
And finding out that he was Ego's child trafficker is also pretty crazy, but he was. But that line, he might have been your father, but he ain't your daddy.
Classic.
Such a great line.
Instant classic.
We do get the introduction of Mantis, another great character going forward. And I do kind of like the third act fight scene. Just because the Guardians flying around, you get the scene with Groot and the bomb, which is super funny, where he's like, Rocket tells him what to do, and he's like, do you remember that? And he's like, yeah, and then he's like, what does he say? We're so gonna die or something after he walks out. Oh
Anybody got any duct tape?
Yeah. But yeah, like the ego stuff really does throw it off for me. This is my lowest ranked Guardians movie. Like, in him telling him his whole plan and about how he basically killed Quill's mom, probably not the best idea. Like, that just wipes him out of it. Like,
Totally unnecessary.
like, what did you just say? You just killed my mom. Like,
Hey, this is going pretty
So
smooth,
that's why-
by the way. I
that's why I
murdered
had
your
to give her
mother, so
cancer.
let's keep going. Like, whoa.
so yeah, it's my least favorite, but it's still in the top half.
Yeah, it's fair. It's my least favorite, too. I just like it more, you know.
Yeah, there you go.
Same.
Okay, let's see where we're at here. We're on to number 12, and JD had this at 14. I have it at 12, and that is Wakanda Forever.
12, baby. Looks like we're a
Hey,
little
there
gay,
we
too.
go.
Hell yeah.
We got so much chemistry on this podcast. We should get married.
Right?
Let's get it, boys.
What?
So, this is another super emotional movie like Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I know you guys have it higher, but this is my emotional movie section. Like, I don't even know how they pulled it off without Chadwick in the first place. And Letitia Wright stepped up, absolutely killed it as the new Black Panther, and just showed the emotion of her brother dying in the movie and this real life person also passing away. Namor was probably the best villain of Phase 5 with the Actor of the Year High Evolutionary. And Talokan was a very realistic underwater city, pretty dope backstory and name origin, and he's a mutant too, so he was a great addition to the movie. And with the CIA wants vibranium now, like that was a super cool aspect to bring into this, metal that only they have. That of course, they want to use it for their armies and taking over other countries and and then we get the death of Ramonda, which is also wild. Like, did not think we would get another death in this movie, and there goes her mom. And that causes Shuri to almost lose her way at the end. Like, she wants revenge so bad, like she is going to kill Namor. And when she finally shows up as Black Panther at the end, it was a pretty sick scene. Like, they definitely teased it, and she finally comes in at the end. But she does survive a pretty brutal impaling. I don't know how she kind of just walked away from that one, but she's all right.
Vibranium, dog.
Yeah, vibranium.
She's got
but
that.
Dave,
the Force.
Dave, why did you have this at number 12?
Yeah, this is another movie that gets a ton of hate if you go on social media. I just don't understand. A ton of people just say it's garbage. They should have recast T'Challa. Like, so many complaints about this movie. And even if this movie wasn't having to take on the challenge it did, even if it was just a normal movie without the circumstances around it, I think it was really good. But you put in that where they had to work around the death of Chadwick Boseman, and they were able to put this together with that unplanned thing happening, I think it's a testament to how well they did. I thought it was a beautiful movie. Like Lub said, it's very emotional. There were multiple times where I shed tears during this movie. I thought it had a great send-off for Chadwick. And like Lub said as well, Namor was awesome. Badass new villain, badass new species with the Talokan people. Their intro scene was awesome, creepy, unique. He was intimidating. The Dora Milaje were awesome as always. And Angela Bassett, way more than...
She had hot dog fingers.
That fight with Namor was badass. We saw some pretty, slashing with the claws. Blood was actually flying in that scene. It felt pretty visceral. So I just, from start to finish, I enjoy this movie. One thing I wasn't a crazy, but I'm not massively excited about Ironheart. I thought the CGI for the armor, $10. I thought the CGI for the armor didn't look great. And she was all right, but I wasn't like, hell yeah, this is a dope new character. I was like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Yeah, they needed to set up her
show,
Disney Plus show, and everyone gets a new suit in the movie.
Yeah.
Everybody.
That's
even
a
the
big
Dora
gripe for me.
Milaje.
True.
It's true.
Even the Dora Milaje. Why are you going to turn everybody into Iron Man? It just makes him less special and his gear less special. Everybody's got a suit.
It makes them less special.
Yeah.
Like, you're taking away all their unique skills.
I really liked Riri Williams' introduction, and I didn't like her in the third act with that new upgraded suit, but I loved how they brought her in. It was actually just like how they brought in Peter Parker in Civil War. Very similar anyway. She has very similar behavior.
Yeah.
Very smart, young. But I liked it at first, and then it led to that bridge scene, which I thought was such a cool fight scene. Very well choreographed.
Yeah.
Good scene there. But
yes,
this movie gave me like what I look for in comic book movies. A really cool villain, a really cool concept. I mean, Wakanda versus Atlantis is an awesome concept. And since Namor was written well, he was acted well, and Shuri was able to pick up, like you said, at least do the best that she could to fill those shoes, and she did well. I've loved her as the main protagonist of this movie. So yeah, good villain, good hero. It was visceral, like you said. The IA stuff, so a lot of that will probably feel more special after we watch Captain America 4 or just something else like that. They're slowly building that in the background, so a little bit of that in that movie it still felt natural, and that was good too.
Straight up.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of great action scenes in this movie. There's the fight scene on the freeway, like you talked about. Namor attacking the ship at the beginning is also cool. The attack on Wakanda is pretty sick, and then when they go and they fight on the ship again at the end, where they're like holding each other up with the ropes on the Dora Milaje are going down the side with the ropes on them, stabbing people.
That was sick.
It's crazy.
It was unique,
and the camera angle shifts to the side and stuff.
Yeah, I like that.
Great score for me too. The music choices and that weird sound they made when they were doing the stuff at sea, there was good sound.
Ludwig, however he wants it pronounced, Göransson, he kills it. What did he just do recently that I was praising him for? Oppenheimer. He was the composer for Oppenheimer. The guy absolutely kills it. So yeah, great score.
I made a mistake. I skipped myself because I'm such a gracious host, and I was nervous about unveiling my number 13 movie. And
Wow.
that's because it's Iron Man 1.
Who the hell do you think you are?
I know.
What gives you the right?
I know.
We need answers.
But it's rated. I have it rated at an 8.7. Like it's pretty high up there. That's respectable, right?
That's higher than my rating is, but it's higher on my rankings.
There you go. I love the
I
MC
have
more than
it.
you.
I have 8.7 also, but it's higher.
God, you guys just
see?
rub kneecaps, I swear.
Yeah.
Okay, so kind of like Doctor Strange, this is another origin story of a selfish asshole who becomes slightly less of a one at the end. This movie is held in such high regard because of the universe it started. So maybe that is why you have it higher on your list, because of what it started. You know, maybe not the movie itself, but what came afterwards. But you know, we'll wait to see about that. But if this was a flop, they would have been so screwed. Dave,
Yeah.
keep your mouth shut. Okay. I see you trying so hard to keep it closed. But of course, Tony Stark built this in a cave with a box of scraps. Obadiah Stane is a pretty cool villain. R.I.P. Jeff Bridges. But there is some great on-screen chemistry between the actors, like RDJ, Gwyneth, and Jon Favreau. Like they all just have like great chemistry together. It seems like this isn't the first Iron Man.
Just killed Jeff Bridges. He's not dead.
Isn't he dead?
The actor?
No.
He's still alive, bro. I don't know why you just killed that man. It's a
That's the worst
$50
part.
fine.
I could have
Sorry.
swore they talked about him
Sorry.
dying.
Didn't mean to interrupt, but no, he's alive.
R.I.P. RDJ.
No, that's a fair interruption. I do love the scene of him building his suit, and it is and the classic one we get later. Like that is probably one of the best. It's no CGI or very little CGI. There are great action scenes, like when he blows up the weapons depot. That's always a cool scene to go back to. And RDJ was the perfect casting, as we know. He just plays the bad boy millionaire philanthropist so well. So I do like this movie. Don't hate on me.
I'm not going to get into it fully. I'll wait till next episode when it's on my list, but I'm just going to... You said it's like Doctor Strange, where the rich, selfish... You're making it sound like Doctor Strange was the one who came up with that, and Iron Man did that first, all right?
Oh,
which is it.
He did it first.
I'll hold off on my defense for the next episode.
Okay.
I think it's a good rating, and you're wrong, but
Thank you.
I like
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah,
Well-
it'll be on my next episode too. But I'll give you a couple gripes. 'Cause I really wanted to talk about it because you were talking about Obadiah Stane. But this was like one of my least favorite third acts ever. I hate when you strip the hero of his power and they're trying to fight, but he's like, he can't do it. He's getting ran over by a car. This like family's running him over. It's just like, dude, I want to see him fight as Iron Man. And then having Pepper press the button that ultimately saves everybody. And how did he not die if it killed Obadiah? Because he was standing farther away from that blast. So like, I can't stand the third act. But at the same time, they gave us one of the best, like, here's his display of powers when he goes and whoops those people's ass in the Middle East somewhere. I thought that scene was awesome. Like, that's what you want. You know, that's him at full power showing you what he could do.
Yeah, Love might have been onto something with the whole part of the reason is because it started the whole MCU, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
You did remind me also that scene where he's like flying around with the Air Force jets, and they're like trying to track him down, like shooting bombs at him and stuff, missiles. It was they really displayed how fast Iron Man is going, especially back in 2009 when it came out.
2008, the CGI and everything is amazing for 2008. Like that suit looks better than a lot of the movies we still get. So
still the best looking suit, the best looking.
It's amazing.
So I think I know what Dave's number 11 is, but we still need to get to JD's 12, and that is
Iron Man 2, baby. I don't get it. Why does everyone hate this one so much? Dude, it's fun. Like, yeah, there's a ton of cameos, but they all made pretty good sense. Black Widow belonged there. Nick Fury belonged there. Whoever else showed up. I was cool with that. I liked how they expanded the universe and had more characters developing in there besides just Iron Man. They're building like a team. They're building a universe. And the villain even worked for me. I really liked the villain. he didn't like live up to being
He's
a
cool.
huge threat. He was kind of a whatever one-off, but they were building other stories. That's another gripe a lot of people have, is it was like too much story stuffed into this movie. But for me, it just made the movie really entertaining because the villain worked for me, not the best, but still worked. Tony's evolving his suit. His scene there when he gets the triangle in his chest and pretty much like
sick.
becomes fully
coconut.
better from his sickness. Yeah, I mean, then he goes out and fights. That was an awesome scene. You have Phil Coulson. You have the end credit with Thor. War Machine coming in there. Justin Hammer was funny. He had a lot of funny, like being the guy who just
Loved
wants
him.
to prove himself, but is constantly demeaned.
Loser.
Yeah, so a lot of that worked for me. And dude, some sick stuff. That laser thing he did to kill a ton of people around him was sick. The way he navigated his flight pattern to have
360
them all
no-scope?
crash into that Earth. There was some cool Iron Man action in there too.
Third act was sick. I loved the third act of that movie. That whole standoff in the planetarium or in the whatever type of forestry thing they were in, that was sick with War Machine. Yeah,
Right.
I didn't mind the story. I didn't feel like it was too packed or anything. I did think Ivan was pretty weak, just because I didn't mind Mickey Rourke's portrayal, but it's just every time he popped up on screen, he got defeated in 2 moves. So he just kept getting his ass
true.
whooped. But I love Justin Hammer, and yeah, I like War Machine there too. I enjoy Iron Man 2. It's definitely it didn't make it this high for me, but I still I don't hate Iron Man 2. I think it's a fun one.
We respect all opinions here on Why So City.
Lub hates it.
It's at 23.
You almost made JD throw up.
No, I said
Be careful there, bro.
Like problems.
I blew it, by the way. I read off of a list that wasn't updated.
Oh no!
I switched my 11 and 12 accidentally.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Because me
Wakanda
and
Forever was supposed to be 11. So we don't even share that, so we're not cousins or anything. We don't have anything in common.
Not cousins.
Jesus.
One step further from.
So you have
Yeah, no, I blew it.
Wakanda Forever.
Wakanda
11.
Forever should be 11.
Big Wakanda guy.
cousin.
So
Okay, so
I messed up a lot.
then number 12 must be Doctor Strange.
No, so 13 is Doctor Strange. I messed that one up too.
Dude, what's
That
12?
was
Far
the
From
one.
Home?
So remember when I joined the lobby and was like, I just switched 13, 11 right there. Like I had to make. I forgot to update it on the list I'm reading from now when I switched it. So sorry.
Doctor Strange is 13.
Real quick Doctor Strange is 13. Far From Home is 12, and Wakanda Forever was 11. My
All right.
bad.
Let's discuss Doctor Strange. And JD, where did you have Doctor Strange? That was in the last episode, huh?
It's low, man, and I was
Or was
looking
that
at
bottom
it today,
5?
and I kind of want to put it to even lower. It's bottom 5. Yeah, I don't like it that much, man.
Holy
Easy.
Yeah.
Shiza.
Doesn't
Oh,
it-
well, you got
and-
the comic book deal, but I know that's only part of it, probably.
I love the metaphysical. I love when he meets the Ancient One. I fucking love all that trippy stuff that happened after that, but everything else is just whatever. I like the Ancient One too, and the villain was good, but I mean, whatever. We're not getting into it right now, right? Oh wait, we are. But that's all right. I already talked
Oh, we
about it.
are.
If you want
Dave,
to see
Dave,
me,
you're going to tell JD why he's wrong right now.
I'm going to tell JD why he's wrong.
tell me what.
I am surprised. I thought this was just a quality movie all around. Mads Mikkelsen as the villain, I thought it was a great villain. The visuals were like straight up Inception-like in the MCU. It was a very unique kind of MCU movie at the time when it came out. It was like kind of groundbreaking as far as MCU movies go, with the visuals and the mystical stuff behind it. And I loved Benedict. I thought he did a great job. But again, I wasn't familiar with his comic counterpart, so I'm not coming from anything, which
Same.
I have more recently learned how different they are in the movie and the comics. But I remember watching this was one of the first ones I watched in IMAX in a long time. I went and saw this in IMAX with Megan, my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, and we freaking loved it. And I enjoy it every time I rewatch it. I just think there's so much creativity in it. And I just think Benedict kills it all the way through.
Okay, I'm making sure JD wasn't going to fire right back
What's
at him.
happening?
I had something, but I forgot what I was going to say.
I do love the astral planes and the mirror dimension. And we also meet Wong, who's also killing it in Three Body
Hey.
Problem, expanding
Hey.
his role. Hey, there we go. But yeah, he's one of the best side characters in the MCU. And I do love the third act fight scene where they're going back and forth in time when he's fighting Mads Mikkelsen, and then the endless time loop with him and Dormammu. It's also a crazy scene where, I'm just going to keep fighting you over and over again until you get tired. It's just one of the most creative origin stories in the MCU too. Like, it's so different from all the other ones.
It is, and that third act is just so different. The MCU that has a problem. They just copy and paste third acts a lot of the times. Let's get similar powered villain fight similar powered hero, or hero loses his powers and has to find different ways to work. It was just a totally different thing. We see this fight kick off in Hong Kong, time's moving backwards. They're having to avoid all this stuff like a shot at a Tenet as these bricks are reforming the buildings that have been destructed, and then we get this Dormammu scene. It was just all a very unique third act, which is just very refreshing for me when you're watching MCU movies.
Right. Yeah, JD.
And it's like the same origin as Tony. Rich dude, conceited, got in an accident, and his powers is what saved his life.
Very similar, yeah.
Well, let's move on then. So Dave has this at 12, and me and JD, eternal friends, have this at 11. And that is Spider-Man Far From Home, which I actually just rewatched today, right before the podcast. How about that?
Hell
I
yeah.
had to make sure this was almost number 10. Like, it was very close to going up to number 10, but it stayed at
Nice.
11. But every Spider-Man MCU movie is a banger. Like, they're obviously all close to the top 10 for most of us. Homecoming is a little lower, but still. We have Far From Home, and obviously no one's talked about No Way Home yet. But Spider-Man's probably my favorite hero in the MCU. And I do love the post-Endgame tie-in. Like, Peter's dealing with the loss of Tony and this new mantle he feels like he has to live up to, while also trying to balance a normal life and fighting crime, which is a plot device in Homecoming. But I think that this is one of the better movies to kind of display and portray post-blip and post-Endgame. Most other movies kind of ignore it or kind of mention it once and then go on with what they're doing. Like, they're dealing with, everyone showing up 5 years later and how different the world is now. And my other gripe would be Peter handing over the glasses to a guy he just met. Like, it is part of his character. I get that. But, like,
Kind of an idiot.
Tony's kind of an idiot move at the same time. Like, Tony Stark trusted you, and Tony Stark fucked up again by giving a child advanced weaponry. He likes to do some skeptical things sometimes.
Right.
And also, how can Peter control Edith again at the end? It's also always weird to me when I see where he picks the glasses up and says, "Stop the attack," and it's like, you don't think, like, once you transfer it over, you can't just get them right back? Like, don't you have to transfer it back to yourself?
Right.
But, hey.
It's got a user history on it, apparently.
Right, yeah.
You just have to transfer it to a new user, but returning users will always have access.
That's
Which
true.
means Mysterio has access to it still, but let's not get into that.
Oh, no. And it's the first mention of
And
the
where
multiverse.
Yes.
How about that?
Yes.
True. Which we don't understand fully because he was lying when he said 616. So how did he
Right,
accurately
he was.
guess such a number like that or whatever? But, and also, where were those drones during Thanos invading? Because he obviously didn't make them
Everything.
after that. They could have used the drones. And he
when,
had
there's-
really advanced drones early in the movie, and it seemed like he could do the same thing before. So his ultimate access to that satellite just allowed him to do what he could do before, but bigger. Because those other things were pretty freaking big. The water thing, and they're like making the whole city wet. Like, they were already really advanced before he got control of Edith.
I know.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, he just got access to the full thing to do an Avengers level threat instead. But yeah, he did already have some pretty catastrophic stuff in his hands. Yeah. No, go. You were going to say something, Caleb. Go for it.
Sorry, I'd watched the movie.
shitting on
I went ham. When MJ says, "I know you're Spider-Man," is a super funny scene. Like, he finally admits her, and she's like, "You're Spider-Man," and she's like, "You've been randomly leaving all the time," and like, it's almost breaking the fourth wall because that happens in hero movies all the time. Like, they leave, they fight, and then they come back, and everyone's like, "Oh, where were you? Where did you go?" She's just like, "You're Spider-Man, bro. Like, come on." And the alternate reality nightmare scene is always a trip. We get zombie Iron Man and him in the snow globe, and then the final fight again where Peter goes full Peter Tingle and basically, defeats all the drones. So, yeah. A great third act.
That was my two highlights for sure. Like, because again, I can't believe I've said this like on 6 of these 8 movies, but I'm blown away. It really gets a lot of crap online, and I love that. But I love every Spider-Man appearance in the MCU. To be fair, I'm just genuinely happy to still get good Spider-Man content. But like Lub said, Lub, you actually nailed a lot of the points I was going to say. First mentioned the multiverse, even though he was lying. I thought Mysterio was amazing. The fight scenes were incredibly cool and creative. I thought Jake Gyllenhaal nailed the role. I know JD already mentioned some plot points there that don't really add up, and it's true. There are some stuff. There's a good amount of stuff you can pick at with this movie where it's like, okay, well, why wasn't this used, or how does that work? There are, but I have to ignore a lot of that and just move on to the stuff that I love because, listen, that train scene that Lub was detailing there, it just felt like it was pulled right out of the comics and the animated show and the video games with Mysterio, the levels where you're fighting him. It just felt like vintage Mysterio. And, and then we go from that to the scene where he closes his eyes and he uses the sense to the first full extent, really, in the MCU, where he has the black hallway scene. Just the VFX and the choreography and the cinematography of this whole movie, it's just a blast for me. So when you have those two scenes, I think, honestly, those two scenes were the two best Spider-Man scenes we've gotten in the MCU, in my opinion. Those two in the same movie, excluding Tobey and Andrew scenes. That's a different grading scale. But just Tom Holland Spider-Man scenes in the MCU, the top two scenes are in that movie. So I just think it's such a fun movie again. But there is a good amount to pick at.
Yeah.
There's also a movie.
You guys nailed it all, but sorry.
Sorry, JD. I forgot you were delayed. I thought you weren't going to say anything.
Sorry. For me, it was how unique Mysterio was, and you already touched on it, but I'll add that they put a modern twist on him with these drones, and that, from what I know, isn't from the stories, but I haven't read a lot of Mysterio, but obviously in the 60s he wasn't using drones when they introduced him, and it was such a creative way to put that modern twist on him. And yeah, just overall him as a villain was used so freaking well. That nightmare scene was probably one of my favorite scenes ever. The way it literally launched him out of the building, led him in front of a train. Things were being pulled down. He was pulling like big cranes on top of him because of what Mysterio was making him see, like badass. So how they used him, and even the twist with the villain in the middle of there when you thought he was good, and no one really believed it, but it was still kind of a nice little twist. Pretty slow build up for me, the movie. I don't love the first quarter, first third, but as soon as MJ finds out he's Spider-Man and they find out Mysterio's involved, it just, all that is so good.
Straight up.
And it's a movie full of love. We get Happy and Aunt May, Ned and Betty. When Ned says, a boy met a woman, and now he's a man. And then later he's like,
So stupid.
when a man and a woman grow apart, they become two separate people. It's so funny. And I'm a big fan of MJ and Peter, their awkward growing relationship. It's pretty cool how, it advances through the story, and by the end, they finally get together. So that's a cool aspect.
Yeah, I like that deal.
And Spider-Man's teacher, when they switch seats on the plane, and he says, "Did I tell you my wife pretended to blip out? She ran off with the guy from her hiking group. We had a funeral and everything."
So messed up.
And Peter's just like, "What the hell did I get myself into?"
I have high school in New York for people.
That's funny.
All right. Well, that wraps it up. And next time you hear from us about this, will be in our top 10. I'm now going to have to start rewatching more Marvel movies. Watching Far From Home today made me realize, you know what? I can go back and rewatch it because I haven't really had the want to watch Marvel
Same.
lately.
Yeah. Yeah, I've kind of been in that rut with it too until my wife said, "Hey, let's watch Black Panther." I was like, "Okay, let's do it."
Dude, it's like a weekly problem. Like, we're deprived. The last 5 years, they have not put out good content, so we can't rewatch anything. We can't keep rewatching stuff from 10 years ago, dude. Like, we've been deprived the last 4 years, and now we're suffering because, like, this is the time when you start rewatching, finding all the new cool stuff about it, seeing how it connects. But no, not rewatching Miss Marvel or She-Hulk. Sorry.
That's true.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we can get
And
the next
Star
one
Wars,
out
too.
soon, and then we're going to be jam-packed in
DC.
June. Hopefully we can get one out before then. Damn it, JD. Okay, so to wrap things up, Dave has, let me make sure this is correct, at number 17 he has Age of Ultron, Shang-Chi, Guardians 2, Thor Ragnarok, Doctor Strange, Far From Home, and Wakanda Forever.
Clear, Tony.
And Jeremiah Stain has 17 Eternals, Homecoming, Multiverse of Madness, Wakanda Forever, Guardians 2, Iron Man 2, and Far From Home. Well, five sequels in a row. How about that? 5 number 2s in a row.
That's crazy.
And then from myself, yours truly, we have Number 17, Guardians 2, Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, Guardians 3, Iron Man, Sacrilege, Wakanda Forever, and Far From Home. So that was an awesome episode, guys. Good to get back into the MCU. It always gets the sparks flowing again. So hopefully we'll get the passion to come back for our top 10 MCU movies of all time. And thank you for joining us, and stay tuned next time.